We're hiding.
We're hiding. With Michael.
So. Awesome. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. All right. Well, Bob, welcome. Audience, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We have lots of slides with lots of words. I'm sure it'll keep you awake. So, what can they expect, Bob?
So, first of all, there's a quiz. We're not going to preach at you guys. So, what do you think this quiz says?
So I heard it over here somewhere.
You heard it? Who had it?
Food for thought.
Food for thought. We're going to give you a little bit of food for thought. We're going to try to do our best to summarize everything that we learned across 5 cities at 5 different summits. But quick question for you. How was the summit? Did you like it? Thumbs up?
No, I just want to say as a partner, it's so fun to come to these and hear all the customer stories, right? I think as an SAP customer, every customer here in the room is on a different part of their journey. I've implemented a few things. I've got a few things in front of me. Other people are just getting started. They've done nothing. And I think as customers, everybody does appreciate just hearing, oh, I've got the same question. Yeah, of course, everybody's talking about AI. But hey, I haven't done this purchase order thing yet, or I haven't done this commerce thing yet. So I think this summit is specifically good at the customer story.
Yeah, it's been pretty phenomenal. So we're going to talk a little bit about the future. As always with SAP, we reserve the right to change it until it becomes generally available. And so a few things. The world's moving awfully fast. But first of all, let me ask you this question. Would you rather have a regular SAP presentation, or would you rather have a little bit of fun? What do you think? Fun? Everybody's in for fun?
No architecture slides?
No architecture slides. We're going to have something that looks more like this. That's right. We're going to run down the top 10 things in PTI fashion that we learned from 5 summits in 5 cities in about 5 weeks. Okay.
That's amazing.
So, first and foremost, quick question for you. Do you guys believe everything you've seen now? Do you think AI is going to be the next industrial revolution? What do you think? That's not enthusiastic. It's really not 3 in the afternoon. Is it going to be the next industrial revolution? You think so? Okay. Now, there's been moments in history that have changed how we work, how things happen. The Industrial Revolution spots, by the way, are the ones that are surrounded in pink. It absolutely changes from an agricultural society to an industrial one. And then all of a sudden we had electricity, and that took a long time to roll out, but it changed everything again. And then compute came along, things changed one more time. I truly believe that Gen AI is going to be that kind of a step change. What do you think, Michael?
I agree. But I think I looked at this slide and I thought, wait, weren't we at a conference a couple years ago talking about blockchain? Where's blockchain on this?
Wait, okay. Take a step back. Who in the room owns Bitcoin? Changed life for Bruno, let me tell you. How's that blockchain working for you? Yeah, Bruno's happy. No, but I actually want to ask this question. Do you think AI is going to actually change the way we relate as humans? I mean, is it going to change us in ways like scientific discovery and creativity and how we communicate and democratize knowledge? What do you think? Yeah. It's a lot bigger than just an industrial revolution. And, if you think your kids are really stuck on their devices today, what's that future going to look like? I don't know, but it's kind of scary, right? So if you don't think it's going to change scientific discovery, put in this little prompt in the Gemini. It comes back with pages and pages and pages of how Gen AI is already making a difference. So it's pretty mind-boggling as to what's happening with AI today. Doug McMillon is the CEO of Walmart. He agrees with me, by the way, or maybe I agree with him, but he was in the news a couple of weeks ago talking about the fact that even though Walmart is the largest employer, 2.2 million people work for Walmart. And there's a lot of manual labor, like stocking shelves and cleaning floors. And Michael's in aisle 4. We have a cleanup in aisle 4. But the whole point is, the rest of this quote, it's not on the screen, is he hasn't found a single job at Walmart that isn't going to change. So it is absolutely going to change our jobs. So,
yeah, let's quick survey. How many people used a Gen AI this week personally? Personal manner, right? I do it every day.
Even the guys at the soundboard, right? Did you use it this week? Absolutely. All right, yeah.
Everybody here personally, I agree. Business productivity. Who here used it to generate maybe some bullets for a slide, rewrite an email? right?
Everybody again. Okay, last question.
Are there any hands in the room where you used AI productively in a business process in your organization today? Well, Google's here. Of course they did.
So a lot less. My scientific counting there was about 18%. 18% of people used it for a business process. So there's still a lot of room, but we can kind of see the potential. There's no doubt in my mind. Oh, I forgot to run my clock. So just so we stay on time,
we've got a 3-minute timer.
We have a 3.5-minute timer for each one of these. So whenever it gets to the bottom, if we're not done with a section, y'all have to yell, eh, and we're going to have to move on, right? So, clean core is actually a big topic, and it's a topic that I think we've all talked about for quite a few years. But it's probably been never more important. You know, we've had a lot of presentations over the summits, but I actually was at Oil and Gas, ASUG down in Houston a couple of weeks ago, and it was really mind-boggling because Exxon, ConocoPhillips, and Chevron all presented the exact same thing. They basically said we couldn't upgrade anymore because our code had gotten that complicated. It turned into a multi-year project just to do an upgrade on our SAP system. Every one of them embarked on this idea of how do we make it easier to work with.
Yeah.
Exxon, Conoco, and Chevron all said the same thing. They went back to fit the standard. They all got down to like 10% of the custom code. I mean, in this case, I think Clean Core, that statistic on the left, that's Exxon saying they're at 96% standard code. The small print on ConocoPhillips says 6%. I think Chevron said 7%, but it was mind-boggling that 3 of probably the least nimblest companies I've ever worked with have all suddenly become more nimble. I mean, have you run into this a lot?
Yeah. Let's talk about a real-world story of a food producer, bacon manufacturer. Bob, you love bacon?
I love bacon.
Everybody loves
bacon. Who loves bacon? No, I'm kidding.
Bacon factories are very cool. They actually, this producer actually does brine it in pickle juice, which was amazing. Anyways, not the point of the story. They had a wonderful SAP GUI T code called Z-Ship. And this T code was amazing. I could edit deliveries, and I could look at sales orders, and I can schedule trucks in TM, all from that one Z transaction in SAP GUI. But unfortunately, it's not Clean Core compliant. And unfortunately, Joul's not going to be inside of SAP GUI. We know this. So we need to take these cool extensions and we need to re-platform them as Clean Core, as on-stack extensions, so that we can use all this cool infrastructure we're going to talk about in a little bit, so that we can leverage BDC, so that we can leverage Joule, Business AI, SAP Build. All of that capability on BTP comes with getting to Clean Core.
But do you have to be an ABAP Jedi to get that done?
That's right. You need an ABAP Jedi, someone who can lift things with their mind. The answer is no, right? This is a rhetorical question. You don't need an ABAP Jedi. And the reason why is SAP has provided for every SAP customer a tool you can use for free if you want, called the custom code Fiori app, where I can look at all the customizations in my system and understand what is Clean Core compatible and what is not. This is a service that runs either in the cloud or on premise. It is something every single customer in this room is entitled to use. It is for free. Second thing I want to highlight is that the ABAP development tool set, when finding and looking at code that is not Clean Core compatible, right-click, auto-suggest. Right? This is available today inside of ABAP development tool set to allow your team to not have to be the code Jedis. They do exist in the company, and when you find one, they're valuable. It's amazing. But we have these tools, and then we also have Joule for developers. Joule for developers, free for every SAP customer to the end of next year. When I say every SAP customer, truly every SAP customer. If you're an ERP on-premise customer, you can use Joule for Developer on BTP. So every SAP customer in the audience here today can use Joule for Developers for free to the end of 2026. And it's just an enablement, right? It helps those developers out.
And we're out of time, but this is the main point. If you reduce the complexity and you stay current, and I would never have believed that Exxon would have been preaching about this, but they did. They're believing in it now. They believe they can get to the future quicker as long as they can get to that point. Don, does NBC believe?
We do.
How about that?
98% Clean Core.
98%. They're beating Exxon. Yeah, there we go. Testimonial from the front row. So the next thing that I think is incredibly important, and Jamie Dimon talks about this, by the way, but how do you, if you want to become an AI bank, in his case, the data is actually the difficult thing to pull off. And so when we separated our vision on how we're doing this with applications, data, and AI on top of it, it's actually the wisest thing that SAP has ever done. We started focusing on the data. If you think about what we were selling last year, right, Jim? We were selling Oh, did I not reset my timer? I just picked up extra time. How about that? We'll go fast. We were selling the tools that you needed to pull this off. We developed all the best possible tools that we could. But we were selling you an unassembled race car, basically. And now what we're doing with BDC is that we're doing that heavy lifting to have all that work for you. So in the past, when we sold you these tools, one company, NBC, might do it really, really well, while another company may not do it really well. We're taking on that responsibility ourselves to make sure you get the right data. And so we bolted all these tools together, and we realized there were a few things that we needed that were not included. So we partnered with Databricks, we partnered with Calibra, we partnered with these partners to fill in the gaps that we felt would deliver the best possible solution. It introduced this idea of data products. So now you get fresh data that's in context for all the processes that you want to use. We're now going to be shipping hundreds of intelligent apps with our partners so that it works right out of the box. It delivers this idea of a near real-time data fabric because AI that works on old data is not really good AI. It offers a path forward for BW, and it combines the power of Databricks with SAP to deliver the best in ML and AI. Jesper pointed it out during his presentation, but just 2 weeks ago, we announced that we're also going to have a very similar connection to BigQuery. And so we're extending the same idea of having this quality data and have you use it wherever you need to.
And the wherever you need to is the most important point. I think a lot of people may be still thinking about, oh, back in the day, remember how hard BW was to connect to if I didn't want to use Bex? That's not true today with BDC. It is truly open, whether I can do the zero copy Delta Share to BigQuery or to Databricks, connecting SAP and non-SAP analytic front-end reporting tools. Do try to think about how DataSphere inside of BDC is an open platform. You can access it from anywhere. It is great when accessed from SAP Analytics Cloud. We're obviously big fans. But it is truly a access data from anywhere platform. Yeah.
So one thing to remember, if you don't have the right data, you're not going to have the right AI. This is a kind of an interesting quote, but you got to have context in your industry with your own data, or we have no chance of it becoming where we start asking about, did you use this part of your business process? It needs to be specific to your company.
Data silos. I grew up in IT in the AS400 days, right? So green screen ERP systems, epitome of a data silo. It kind of sat separate than your sales system, then your customer service system, then your field services system. These data silos are absolutely terrible, and we've been talking about this for a decade, right, Bob?
Or about 3 decades. But
3 decades, you're right.
I just dated myself. That's not a good thing. Okay. 1 decade. I've been talking about it for a decade.
So again, the theme with Business Data Cloud is openness of data. Well, remember, everything in SAP can be integrated. And SAP has a great platform to integrate all things SAP and all things not SAP. It's called the SAP Integration Suite. So we don't want you to be thinking about in this room about SAP to X, right? Because Integration Suite is more than that. And when you look at this magic quadrant, SAP is on this magic quadrant not because it's a magic quadrant for integrating with SAP. It's in the magic quadrant for integration platforms. So it's in the upper right, just like Workato and Boomi, et cetera. So you can use this platform as an enterprise customer for not just your SAP solutions. I think a lot of times SAP teams, we only look at just the SAP things.
Well, a critical thing to realize is some of those other dots are flourishing in environments that are not SAP. So you wouldn't use the wrong tools on your metric car. You don't want to use metric tools. In the same exact way, SAP is the best integration suite for a company that's got a lot of investments within SAP.
Absolutely. What I would like the audience to think about is, what are the integrations that you haven't asked for or haven't done yet, right? So you're doing EDI. We get it, and EDI is super important. Pacific Coast Companies, a member of the San Francisco Platform and Data Summit, over $800 million in revenue a year running through Integration Suite. So kudos to them. They love the uptime and availability. But now we're starting to educate and inform them on this thing called Open Connectors, API Hub. If you haven't been to it yet, api.sap.com lists every API integration template that SAP provides for you. So I think on the next slide, I have some highlights here, right? So one, if you want to build an integration, what are the integrations that you have or have not built yet that may or be on the periphery of the SAP landscape? One of those, a very simple one, is integrating with Microsoft Office. A lot of people think about, I wish if this interface failed, it would send me a message. Not an email, but maybe a Microsoft Teams message, right? Something like that. Those are all capabilities that are available out of the box with Integration Suite with these templates, again, provided by SAP at API Hub. Another customer here today, Pregis, talking about integration with HubSpot, if you went to that presentation earlier today. Well, SAP also has template content on api.sap.com, where you can import this content in Integration Suite and begin connecting these solutions. Now, who doesn't love warehouse robots? What are your thoughts on warehouse robots, Bob?
Amazon delivers to my house way too often.
That's right. The delivery is way too efficient. I'm blessed to live in Denver. We have same-day delivery. It's amazing. But if you at your organization are starting to explore autonomous vehicles, autonomous forklifts, autonomous robots inside of your warehouse, remember, SAP provides an integration suite template for you to use and activate. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be great, amazing, 100% out of the box, but it's some place for your developers to get started. Because I don't know if you're like me, Bob, when you're sitting down, create a PowerPoint presentation at night, that blank page anxiety.
Never had that problem.
So yes, I can use those templates. I can grab them, copy them, modify them. I think it's a resource that far too many customers don't use enough. And again, I'll say it again, api.sap.com.
Yeah, bottom line, we have a lot of customers. I remember Sapphire this year. There was customers they're presenting on. They started out with Integration Suite just for SAP to something. And they quickly discovered that using SAP for non-SAP to non-SAP was still an incredible value. And that's kind of why we rank so high in this. You guys are supposed to tell me my timer ran out.
Right.
So,
no ads.
So when I travel the country, I've been kind of gathering, like, what are the top problems everybody's working on? And what's mind-boggling about this list is, first of all, most companies agree that this is what they're still working on, and we've been working on it for 25 years. These have not been easy to solve. And so when I ask people, I mean, are these on your top list? Almost always, at least 5, 6, 7 of these are on there, right? There's a real problem, though, because right down the hall, you've got a work team that's working on one of those problems, in this case, reducing costs. At the same time, at the North Campus, somebody else is working on optimizing pricing. And then in the third place in your company, people are working on something else. And what's happened is that they solve these problems in different ways with different tech stacks. As a result, you don't build any momentum. You're kind of creating a new tech stack that it's kind of like why Hadoop fell down. You had to keep all these different things upgraded and working together to make sure that Hadoop was going to all stay together. We keep doing this over and over and over like it's going to be our great solution, but the reality is that there's lots of common things that we want to do, whether it's getting rid of the paper, or beating back those silos, or making sure the data is going to be real time. All these things have to be done. That little corner is the things that Business Technology Platform does incredibly well. And if you start looking across these problems, you realize that you got to solve a lot of the same problems, whether it's the data, whether it's how am I going to make AI part of it, how am I going to integrate it with everything else. It's common stuff that's on each one of these problems. Do you see this with a lot of your customers, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, optimizing pricing, and just showing that Pacific Coast company story again, they're in an organization that was impacted by tariffs. And they needed to run simulations of, if tariffs are X, what is my margin going to be? If tariffs are Y, what is my margin going to be? And by having a tech stack running on SAP BTP.
If for some reason they had to rerun that every week, I'll get it.
That's right. A lot of nervous heads of revenue there in North America. But those simulations, they had the ability to be agile because they had that single pane of glass looking at their data, right? And without that, they wouldn't have been able to do that. Now, BTP provided these tools, that automation tools, analytic tools, everything they needed to be able to run those simulations.
Above everything else, I think, as the world changes faster, the real question comes down to how do we become more adaptable? And the more modular we are today, the more we're able to connect things together, then we can take that module out if it no longer serves us and add another module. So this idea of modularity and how to become a more adaptable enterprise becomes crucially important. We finished with time on a timer. That's never happened before, Michael. Yeah, so, I think one of the things that we fall into is that we talk a lot about the technology and we kind of sometimes ignore the people behind the scenes. And that's a crucial piece of this as well. And if you think about how do we make that work, SAP's been investing a lot in this arena because we want to do continuous process improvement. You discover what's going wrong with the process, you want to analyze it, then you want to design a new feature, potentially implementing that through BTP. You wind up implementing it, you wind up monitoring it, and then kind of have this thing going around and around and around to make sure that our processes get better and better over time. And so 3 of the investments that we've made recently, the first one, or the most recent one, was WalkMe. Who uses WalkMe? You guys use WalkMe? Yeah, I mean,
couple.
It works not just on SAP applications, it works on other applications too. It helps point out where people need help and where we can improve our processes in real time, basically. But improving processes is a bigger step. A lot of times we used to use a consultant. We'd call in Tom. And Tom was our consultant. He'd come in and interview Betty. Hey, Betty, what's wrong with the process? And he'd get a very subjective view of what's not working. But now, and I think you guys have done quite a few projects, right?
Yes, Signavio here, Process Insights. Just to let, again, every SAP customer here in the room know, you have the ability, and there are programs at SAP where you can get free or near free access to Signavio Process Insights to run a one-time analysis. And this tool will breadcrumb business processes inside of your ERP or S4 system. My dad is a CNC machinist. He used to tell me nothing measured, nothing gained. Here too, if we don't measure our business processes, the performance of them, where do they exist, how many of them exist, how many variants of them exist, we cannot begin a process improvement project until we know what we're actually doing. And the Signavio is that tool that helps you, again, breadcrumb those business processes inside of your ERP or S4 systems, visualize them, and by the way, there's an AI component, which we can talk about later. But visualize them so then you can get people in a room looking at a board saying, oh, I didn't realize there were 23 ways that we enter in POs.
And then the last piece is Lean IX, of course. We would like to understand how the entire enterprise architecture goes together and how we get from point A to point B with a reasonable plan, right? So these three things are kind of bringing together this idea of the technology with the people and the process to make sure that things happen well. So, and when they do,
yeah,
the payback can be incredible. Like BHP saved $500 million.
Who here on the room has been part of a Go Live War Room? Anybody raise your hand, right? Go Live War Room. Well, number one, we know 80% of it is security, right? I love to blame security people for my problems. It's because you didn't give me sample, and that's why this doesn't work. But the big thing here is with WalkMe, I can measure that end user experience and figure out what is think time, what is process time, what are the warnings they're seeing on the screen. That way I have insight into, wow, this factory in Mexico City is having a really hard time with production order confirmation. We did something wrong if they can't get it done in 60 seconds, right? You don't know that unless A, you're standing there watching them, or B, you have a tool like WalkMe where it's monitoring users, watching users, enabling you to have insight into what are they getting done and do they need support in order to complete that, whatever that business process might be.
So what you're saying is what gets measured gets improved.
Yeah, nothing measured, nothing gained.
There you go. And so a lesson I just learned today, by the way, separate topic, is don't wear your computer glasses when you're trying to actually be able to see the screen that far away. It's not easy. Trey did an amazing job talking about what we're doing with Joule and with Embedded. It's kind of this top layer. We kind of see it as, in essence, the new interface to SAP in a lot of ways. I mean, when you hire somebody new, they don't exactly want to know what the T code is to run a transaction anymore, right? And so Joule's going to help in a lot of different ways. The thing that we didn't talk a lot about is how much progress we've made with our knowledge graph. How do you make sure those answers are right? When we sent queries to a standard LLM that hadn't been trained on SAP, it was roughly 70% accurate. Is 70% good enough? No, now when your business is counting on it. With knowledge graph, where we've combined over 450,000 ABAP tables, 80,000 CDS views, 7-point-something million fields, that number jumps up to well over 90%, and we're working on our own foundational model that's going to be table-based, that's going to try to increase that even more. But it's about making it a lot more accurate. Agentic AI progress is amazing, and it absolutely fits business processes, so we're really excited. It's kind of like SAP's wheelhouse. Agentic's going to be a great fit. We're releasing hundreds of embedded capabilities. I think Trey showed 310. The goal is 400 by the end of the year, and it keeps on growing from there. Custom AI is something that Trey didn't talk about, but it's crucially important. We have the ability, and we've had it for quite a while right now, through BTP, where you can have custom AI working as part of your business process, even if you're on ECC, for example. You don't have to be on the latest and greatest to be able to apply custom AI. Joule's going to work with Copilot, or it does work with Copilot. The two work well together. And lastly, Joule ultimately is going to orchestrate agents. This is kind of like the one pager that you see at Sapphire, but I thought it was kind of cool. And Joule is like one of the areas that you guys have worked on quite a bit, right?
Yeah, and I think one thing I continue to encounter at events or with customers on the phone, I want everybody here to know, Joule is for every SAP customer. If you're ERP on-premise, if you're S4 on-premise, S4 private cloud, S4 Rise, S4 Grow, Joule is for every SAP customer. There are different levels of Joule, just like anything in life, that you can implement out of the box, and there's some things you can build. If your S/4HANA Rise or Grow, you implement and activate Joule, you're off and running. If you're S4 in your own private cloud environment, or your S4 on-prem or ERP on-prem, your vehicle or your access to Joule is delivered through SAP WorkZone. So again, if you leave this room, just know every SAP customer has access to Joule in one form or another, and you have lots of capabilities in the platform on BTP to build those custom Joule skills for you to deploy. A couple other things I'd like to point out. Number one, SAP being headquartered in Germany supports data sovereignty. How many multinational companies do we have in the room? Anybody running SAP in multiple countries? So we have a customer, Toto, in Atlanta, right? They manufacture toilets, new S4 customer, headquartered in Japan. They can choose to run Joule and Joule AI in Japan, so they have data sovereignty based out of Japan. Same for German companies, etc. So you can run Joule in different data centers to comply with your data privacy. And I have 7 seconds. Last thing I would like to say is that Joule will never use the internet. And that's why it's a better solution. It's integrated with your SAP security, your SAP identity, your SAP security and roles, and it will not use the internet, which is great.
We already mentioned Joule for consultants and Joule for developers. Why not use Joule for developers? It's free till next September 2026, right? AI Foundations, how you get custom AI, part of your process.
There's too much to skip. There's too much to skip on this slide.
All right.
Copilot.
Copilot.
Another thing, out of the box. we can't, because I think not enough people, number one, a lot of people think this is a pay product, and it's not. It's an activation. So you activate Joule, now I can ask Joule about a sales order. But the Copilot integration means I can ask about a sales order in a Microsoft Teams channel now. Right? So SAP user license, I get access to SAP Joule. I extend the Joule conversation through API config and a SAP help document. So now I can have a conversation with Joule from Microsoft Teams. That is not a pay solution, that is an activated solution. So when you activate Joule and you get it running, you connect it to Microsoft Teams. Now I can have those conversations in Teams. Think of a field salesperson going into an account. This customer's complaining about this invoice. This customer's saying, do I have any inventory available of X? I can have that conversation in Teams now very quickly, and then sit down at my desk, go into Fiori, and enter in that quote. So I had to say that just to let everybody know.
You had to say it. I got it.
Joule agents, extended with Joule. Remember, everybody, you have Joule, and SAP is doing a great job building Joule skills, but SAP Build is your Joule skill builder to build skills specific to your organization or your requirements. Maybe an example Joule skill was inbound receiving manager. Always gets surprised about how many shipments he or she might receive that day. It could be 2, could be 3, could be 4. I need to plan for people. Little Joule skill looks at the ASNs from the night before, says, hey, you're going to need 10 people today to unload trucks between 11 and 12, based on the ASNs that were received the day before. Just a little skill, a little agent to assist that inbound receiving manager in planning their day. That's an example of a very customer-specific Joule skill that I use SAP Build to deliver to my customers.
It's also pretty good at document processing, but we're moving right along.
I forgot that one.
So SAP is delivering lots and lots of AI. And I've talked to customers who are like, well, we've got a data science department. They were our primary AI users in the past. Why would you miss the opportunity to take these capabilities and become an AI hero at your company? It's absolutely wheelhouse as far as getting business done. SAP's ready to help. We didn't finish the timer on a couple of them. So I'm hoping this turns into being on time, but
that's right.
Yeah, so agents matter. Trey spent some time on them, but I think what's important about it is an agent can actually plan its steps and be a lot more thoughtful as to what it accomplishes. It includes tools, so it can do math, for example, not through a large language model, but through a math tool. It can reflect and decide did it do a good job and learn from that. And it can collaborate with other agents. And why is it available now? Well, the truth is all these other technologies underneath it have suddenly made things possible. Joule, our vision of Joule is that it's going to coordinate multiple agents. I mean, SAP's in your supply chain, SAP's in your HR area. So these smaller agents that are really good at their job are going to do their job, but Joule's going to try to coordinate that across the top. And ultimately, we believe we're on this journey. The journey, the first 2 steps of this journey, by the way, took a very long time. We're talking about decades of stuff. But when Transformer came along and it changed the model of how we're doing things all of a sudden kind of had the big bang moment, right? Large language models then gave way to understanding visual. I saw Landing AI was here, but they're doing amazing work when it comes to
visual data extraction.
Visual data extraction. there's a shocking amount of business data that's still stuck on paper. And OCR only got the job halfway done. You didn't understand what those fields were. You had to be very strict in the way you did that. All that's gotten amazingly better. We're getting to this point now. We're here, right? The idea of multiple agents working together. The next step's going to be really interesting. It's going to be self-replicating agents. They can create an agent. You know, Trey showed you a demo that showed, look how easy it is to make an agent. Well, guess what? An agent can make an agent. So that gets really cool. And I think we're on this path. Sooner or later, we're going to get to, you know, general intelligence. And unlike a lot of folks, I don't think it's going to look like a Terminator. I think it's going to look like a lot of minions that are there to help you. Right?
We talked about this earlier. The first Joule skill, the first Joule agent you build, it's going to be the toughest. Just like, Bob, I don't know if you remember your first driving lesson with your daughter, how that went.
Well, my car depreciated, so I remember it pretty well. But
so that first Joule skill, Joule agent you build, it's going to be the toughest because you're setting up the infrastructure, you're integrating identity. It's going to take some effort. But then, you know, Joule skill number 2, Joule agent number 2, Joule agent number 3, it's going to be more like a factory. And the person in your organization that can think of the best question, they're going to be the most successful, right? They're going to think through, if I write a prompt this way, and I think about this agent that I want to do a 3-way match to find orphan POs, they're going to write a long prompt, and they're going to have an AI agent that's now doing orphan PO reconciliation. Like, that's amazing, and that is a totally capable skill, because as you all know, all that data sits inside of SAP already, and we pay a human being to do that, but I could build that in a Joule agent.
Absolutely. So, long story short, no more TPS cover sheets on our TPS reports. But anyway, Bill Gates kind of said this really interesting. He thinks it's going to be an absolute revolution in computing. And we think he's right. Satya goes a little bit further. We're going to get proactive help. Right now, I can send in a query anytime I want, and I get help because I asked. But when an email comes in and it reads your email and says, wow, bad sentiment, got to make this rise in your inbox, got to give us some suggested solutions to this, it just becomes an entirely different world, right? So let me ask you guys a question. What do you think? Is predicting the future easy or hard? Hard? Everybody agree hard? No hecklers in the room? Want to go easy? Okay, good. Thanks for playing along. So I think all of us collectively in here are the equivalent of a really good crystal ball. And of course, it depends on the question we're asking. So let's talk about enterprise systems just 5 years from now. By the way, Hasso was absolutely great at figuring out where the future's going. So are you guys willing to play along? You said you want to have fun, right? Yeah. All right, so is the world going to be moving faster 5 years from now? Everybody agrees? Yes, okay. Are the landscapes going to be more diverse or less diverse? More, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
The companies and customers that you work with, are they going to expect everything in real time? Yes. Yeah. I mean, right now, Amazon delivers to my house with that automated warehouse. My phone goes off before the doorbell rings. It's mind-boggling, but I absolutely expect things to happen quickly as the customer. What about your decision makers? Are they expecting real-time insights 5 years from now? Do they expect them now? Yes. Does anybody get them now? No, not at all. So it's kind of an interesting gap. If you want to keep the bosses happy, that'd be a good thing, right? Are we going to be in one cloud with Google, or are we going to be in multiple clouds? What do you think, Jesper? Multiple, look at that. I got Google to go with me. Is there still some stuff that's going to be on-prem? Yeah, so it's going to be
PLC controllers. I'm a manufacturing guy.
Yeah, there's a manufacturing guy. I don't even know what that is. No. Is AI going to solve everything in 5 years? Everything's going to be integrated because of AI. Nope, people are shaking off that pitch. But if I dumb that down a little bit to automation, is everything, a lot more things going to be automated 5 years from now? Yeah, no doubt about it, right? So are operations and tech going to be inseparable? All right, Jesper brought up what happened on Monday. Was operations and tech inseparable for a lot of companies that relied on that cloud? No, it was inseparable. I have my own story. I was in Houston. I was at a gate, had 150 friends with me. We all wanted to get on that plane. The plane was there, we were there, the pilots were there. Somebody pressed delete by mistake in Dallas, Fort Worth. Did we stay overnight? Yes, we did. Operations and tech are inseparable. We're getting there. Are we going to have greater productivity? Yeah. Christian Klein's saying 30%. I don't know. I think he's going low, in my opinion. But IT mission, we're a lot of IT guys. Do we think it's going to be more complicated or less complicated? More complicated.
Yeah.
The business is now counting on us for every step.
And that security conversation is
Security will make your hair stand up. Anyway, I think we've predicted what the future looks like for this question. What are enterprise systems going to look like just 5 years from now? They're going to look like this. It's going to be this fabric of data. Those little dots, by the way, are my applications. There's going to be a lot more of them because we're going to be smaller micro applications and services. It's all going to have to work together. It's all going to have to be real time. You know, Gartner called it composable, but that's exactly. It's going to be a composable, intelligent network of stuff that is running what you think of ERP. This idea of monolithic ERP is dead. And we're in the business of providing you great technology that you can then put together with things like Joule. So you're wondering what 5 for 5 was. 5 for 5 takeaways from the 5 summits that we had. Well, first of all, these are the benefits. I did my best to smash everything together. When you look at your world this way, with data, with AI, with applications, these are the benefits that matter. We're also going to do a shameless plug for Michael and his company, VASS.
That's right. Salespeople in the room are very happy with me for sneaking this one in there. No, but we're very thankful to be able to work with a lot of different customers on this.
No, you guys do incredible work, right? And I guess the big point that I would like to make is, if you partner with a company like VASS, you actually get a quicker start at a time when everything's changing really, really quickly, because they've got a lot of customers that they've done these projects with, and we've got great partners all out in the hallway too. But I mean, everybody is got experience with all the customers they work with, so instead of inventing it yourself, you get to learn what's happening in lots and lots of other places. So I think that's incredibly important.
Oh, thank you.
Nothing to add?
No, 5 takeaways. I'm a technologist. I'm not a sales guy.
All right.
I'm a practitioner.
He's a technologist. So here we go. 5 takeaways. Number 1, Michael.
Fail fast. I think a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to get started, let's say with that Joule skill builder, right? Building your custom AI skills. You go to BTP, there's a BTP trial account for SAP Build. SAP Build is where you get started on building Joule skills. That's on the trial account. Or if you already have an enterprise agreement, you're activating SAP Build for Developer, building your first Joule skill, and deploying it selectively in your organization. Doesn't mean you go big bang for everybody. But in short, we want you to, if you're going to fail fast, fail cheaply. Doesn't need to be crazy expensive.
I mean, 5 years ago, the average POC was like 6 months or 4 months. It took a long time.
Oh yeah, if I wanted to try out something new, it might be, we got to order a server, it's got to come to the server room, someone's got to rack it and install it, someone's got to install the database.
That's 10 years ago, but anyway.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago, you're right. Yeah.
But the point is, it took a long time, it cost a lot of money, and now you can hire a couple of folks that are pretty smart, and a week later you got a little bit of a POC going.
We call it 2 people in a box. You sit down with a customer developer and one of our developers, and we sit there and we build a prototype very quickly. And it's not going to be production ready day 1, but just to let everybody know how easy it is to get started. We don't want you to think that it needs to be a 6-month process to get going.
So we heard a lot of stories throughout the summits about the data. People have finally figured out AI is not going to be magical without your specific data and an understanding of the process and making sure you got great context. So I think that's important. If you want an AI future, you better make sure your data's right. We've got a lot of folks working with our BDC right now. So have meetings, start talking about that. It's incredibly important to get that done. You know, we talked about this one quite a bit. You know, you think integration's over? No, integration's not over. I mean, not everything in your business is working well together. We got to solve this problem because AI that's working on last week's data or processes isn't going to get the job done. You're going to get the wrong recommendations. Michael, you got a lot of experience with this, right? Technical debt's a disaster.
It is. It makes it harder to support, harder to work with, harder to integrate. So by getting to those on-stack extensions, that clean core, so to speak, that's what enables me to expose everything as an API, leverage everything anywhere I can, whether that's on a cool new mobile app I want to deploy in my company, that's all API enabled, right? Getting to clean core enables me to take advantage of all those out-of-the-box APIs.
You know, and even if you take a platform approach, the first project's not necessarily faster. No, but by the time you get to your second project, your third project, they're doing integration the same way, doing data the same way, doing AI the same way. Suddenly, you start building a muscle memory, you start reusing components that you've had. That SAP's using BTP for our own applications that we're trying to sell you, so we could go faster and sell you better value, right? So, and lastly, you know, I can't stress this enough. we have ready-to-go capabilities. We sell it very easily with an easy model for AI units or a BTP EA. So you're able to take advantage of it and experiment with it, POC with it, take it out to production, and not have to go through lots and lots of transactions to get that done. So that's kind of crucially important.
That prototyping and deploying of AI, just remember everybody in the audience, when you activate Joule, that doesn't mean everybody automatically gets it out of the box. It has a role, it has a permission. You can start small with a group of individuals. The other point on here, partner with SAP, I think SAP App House, which VASS, we're working to be an App House partner, and there's other partners here that are also part of this. SAP has a great business AI discovery workshop series. It's a framework for running an on-site workshop with business people to extract their great ideas, put it on paper, vote on it, wireframe it out, and figure out and prioritize what AI use cases do we want to work on first. This is all part of, if you look it up, SAP App House Business AI Workshop Series. It's something that you honestly can run on your own in your own organization. But we love to do it too as partners.
My main point, don't leave AI to some other department in your company. You've got an amazing chance right now to make a huge impact for your business. Also, I just changed this link. This link used to be how you registered for the BTP Summits. They used to be called BTP Summits. I had the domain, okay? But if you go to btpsummits.com, you can now see the replays of all 5 cities. So if you want to check out what other folks have said, Jose Valadares. Jose, stand up.
Yes, thank you, Jose.
Jose,
he does all the videos.
Has been working his butt off on this website, recording every one of these. So Jose, thank you very much. You have done an amazing job for everyone. We really appreciate it. Anyway, it's out there, BTP Summits. Thank you, and I think, Jim Cusick, where are you at?
I'm back here.
You're back here.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Michael.